Coming up on Wolf Tracks, we shed some light on a 17-year-old mystery. Join us as we discover the origins of that thing on the wall. South Kitsap's very own Broadway in the making. See how this year's musicals auditions went. And find out how a boy's battle with leukemia has spread the spirit of giving to the children of Burley Glenwood. This and so much more on Wolf Tracks.
So WTV is going pretty well.
Hey, I wonder who they got for producer.
I heard it was Goosey.
Oh, why would they choose him?
I don't know, he's such a jerk.
Yeah, someone should tell him to chill out.
Rather than just that, Amy. We're trying to decide who's going to produce this next episode, and we've decided that Stephen Goosey is the guy. It's the first time he's produced the show, so cut him some slack. Stephen, come on up and take over.
All right, we've got a lot of work ahead of us. So let's get started. You.
Me?
How's your story coming along?
I really want to get my story in.
Yeah, but nothing's gonna get him with Steven as the producer.
Not if I grease the wheels a little bit. I'll get him a gift.
Oh, that's brilliant!
Is someone talking?
Merry Christmas, Stephen.
What?
I got you a little something.
What is it?
It's art.
Art?
Yeah, just like that triangle sculpture on the front lawn.
It's big. It's metal. Okay, no one knows what it is. But everyday students pass by this thing, not knowing where it came from or what it's doing here.
Is it really art? I mean, to me, art is something where you actually use it. That is just collecting dust.
What's it called? Hover. Why is it called that? Because it looks like it's hovering when the lights are turned on. Who made it? Barry Holden. How much does it cost? $36,420, but it was donated to South Kitsap High School by the Washington State Arts Commission in 1986. That would make it at least 17 years old. The lights in Hover had to be replaced a few years ago, and there was a long period of time where there were no lights at all. For a long time, no one knew what Hover was there for, until just a few years ago, the lights were replaced. Not many people have seen it lit up since then.
I have never seen it lit up, but I think it would be cool if it had like a strobe light out the top of it.
It's really pretty when it glows up, so that's also pretty cool, and it's just like a landmark.
I think that it's kind of weird in a modern art kind of way.
It should be like light up during the day somehow. Scientifically, they should find a way for it to light up in the day.
That normally happens during main events like a homecoming football game, a prom dance, those type of things. And the reason that we don't always turn it on is because of manpower.
Well, now you know. So next time you visit South Kitsap High School, be sure to check out Hover.
Well, I guess if a can of soup can be art, so can this.
Will you watch it again?
Chris, you're just gonna have to buckle down and work. If I watch it again, I think I'm gonna...
Oh, by the way, I got you this.
You know, generally, when you wrap a gift in newspaper, you use the comics, not the classifieds. What is this?
It's Skook and Views, South newspaper.
South Kitsap High School's newspaper, Skookum Views, has proven to be a hardy publication. Begun in 1920, when it was done old school, it had nearly 80 years of existence as a written paper.
budget deprivation cut the paper for a short while, and it returned as an online presentation out of the graphics department.
Right. As I understand it, the paper had been published for years and years, and then about 4 years ago, I think it was when the levy failed, but I'm not totally sure, they decided to cut the newspaper out and brought it back as mostly online, but last year there were supposed to be some actually printed papers, and I believe they did print one. But from that point on, we've gone strictly to the internet.
I just know that, I don't know why there's just a lot of budgets have been getting cut lately. And so they just decided that they were just going to do it online instead of printing, which is good because at least they still have the class.
Students in the class have to hold a special interest in journalism when it comes to the school paper, as it is quite a bit more work to update an online source.
We have to write a lot more than we would if it was printed, so it's kind of rushed. I don't know, not a lot, just a little.
Difference in literary medium aside, the journalism still exists. Students conduct interviews when necessary and compose articles.
I think a lot of kids do much more like things that are recent. Like it's a lot quicker, like because we can update the paper like a whole bunch, and so there's like a lot more stuff that you can do. You can do a lot more stories.
I think that it is really different. First of all, if you're doing a print publication, you're looking at maybe doing one once a month. And that means that you're working on longer stories with a little more research behind them.
It seems that the school paper survived in this instance through innovation and is yet another example of the strength of South Kitsap High School's PTE programs.
Open it already.
Hello Dolly soundtrack?
Uh-huh.
Hello Dolly?
Yeah. Hello, Dolly, you're looking swell.
Enough!
Dolly.
Enough! I'd rather see the play.
How about a story about the play?
Coming this February, a Broadway legend is gracing South Kitsap High School's Wynn Grandland Theater. That's right, it's Hello Dolly, the early 20th century musical extravaganza. On November 18th and 19th, auditions were held at South. The atmosphere was electric. Auditioners danced, sang, and strutted their stuff between performances in an effort to vie for the attention of the judges, who included instructor Deb Emmons.
Yeah, I think it's going to go really well. We had really good auditions. It was very competitive. There were probably 4 or 5 different ways we could have cast the leads, and we had lots of boys, which is great.
I hung around during auditions and watched the future thespians do their thing. The auditioning students did a series of warm-ups first.
We were dancing first on the first day, so basically we ran around the stage and we warmed up and everything, and then we had to dance. Then on Wednesday we did the speaking, our speeches and everything. And that's basically what we did.
The audience was very mature, and the performances often hilarious. There was even an appearance by Arnold Schwarzenegger.
And all the time, wonderful people like me and Roy were walking around New York, not even moving around.
The girls, they did their speech, and then at the end of their speech, they had to give some sort of a cry, which is really funny because some of those girls were really humorous. And I guess that's just about it, all we did. And we just found out who was what on, what day is today, Friday? On Thursday. Yeah.
Hello Dolly is from a book by Michael Stewart, which was in turn based on the 1954 play The Matchmaker by Thornton Wilder. Originally titled Dolly, a Damned Exasperating Woman, it first opened to enthusiastic reviews on January 16, 1964 at the St. James Theater. Turns out the play has some obscure history at our school.
The last time they did Hello Dolly at South was in the 60s. In fact, the lady that does the laundry, Gloria, for the football team, she was in it. She was in the chorus there, and she's going to bring me a program. So it hasn't been done here in a long, long time.
The performers confided their thoughts and predictions in me in the days following the auditions.
I think I did pretty well. I don't really dance, so Getting up there and dancing was quite the experience.
I think Alessandra would have made a good dolly, but Sarah's also good. And if I get the role of chef, I'll bring new light to the term Italian chef.
This is actually my first one that I'm a main part. I haven't even really tried out for any at the school yet.
The enthusiasm of those involved makes it clear that Hello Dolly will debut to rave reviews again at South Kitsap High School, coming this February.
Finally. It's peace and quiet.
Mr. Guzzi, just the man I was looking for.
Dave, if this is another one of your ideas, I'm too busy to listen.
It's not like that. I have something for you.
7 Habits of Highly Successful People. Dave, I don't need a book to tell me how to succeed.
Sure you do. Everybody needs help getting started. Okay, as you can see, that was a job interview. Not a very good one. So, to prevent some of your mistakes, here's a few tips to help you out.
Okay, his first mistake was the way he presented himself.
When someone comes in looking for a job, I'm looking for them to be clean cut, wearing clean dress clothes. They don't have to be a suit or tie.
You should try to wear a collared shirt, or even a dress shirt. And remember, wear nice, plain pants. Clothes and presentation are important, but your attitude is too. His attitude made people believe that he didn't care.
When someone comes in for an interview, I'm looking for eye contact, confidence. I need that person to make me believe that by hiring them, my store is going to be better off than worse.
Your attitude is who you are, and they want to hire someone who's going to work well with other people and with the customers. Okay, appearance and attitude are key essentials, but without a good application, they're useless.
When you're doing an application, make sure that you take the time to make it doesn't have to be super neat, but it needs to be legible.
His application wasn't completely filled out, and it wasn't even neat. If you want to have a good chance, fill out your application on a piece of paper, and then write it down. If your application gets damaged, always remember, you can get another one. It's not the end of the world. So remember, the next time you're applying for a job, look good, have a positive attitude, and have a neat application.
Hey, how's it going?
How's your story coming along?
Funny you should mention that, because I got this for you.
What am I supposed to do with this?
You wear it, duh.
Only if you're on the wrestling team.
Ever wonder who these people on the wrestling mats are?
I'm Pat Kelly and I wrestle at 152.
My name's Hutch and I wrestle at 275, otherwise known as heavyweight class.
My name's Jimony and I'll probably wrestle at 135.
Did you know that the wrestling team has a record of 104-0? The Wolves have been undefeated for over a decade.
We're 104-0 and I believe that dates back to 1992.
We have 104 consecutive wins, is that right? That probably dates back to probably 90s, early 90s.
So what does it take to stay in condition and be an SK wrestler?
We do a lot of running and just lines and sit-ups, push-ups, and then wrestle with coaches every day. So
just conditioning and doing all the moves and stuff, like learning some new moves and things like that.
Mentally, physically, in your soul, you gotta be on a vision quest.
So you ask, what's so special about this year's team? Well, you should come find out as we try and fight to keep our winning streak alive for another year.
So Amy, what's going on with yearbook?
Well, I've got to shoot some more stand-ups.
Hey, Steve. We need to talk. Sure thing, Mr. Godsey. You know, Steve, I've heard that you've been taking some gifts from some of the students to make sure their stories are getting into this next month Wolf Tracks. Is that true? What? They're just gifts. They're nice people. You can't prove anything with your Gestapo getup. It's not like that, Steve. I was just saying that I have a couple Husky tickets here for their next football game, and I was wondering if you might be interested in going.
Yeah, sure.
But first, why don't you check out my story?
I think we can work something out.
I'm Jimmy Newell. South Kitsap, class of 2000. Starting safety, University of Washington Huskies.
For many people, these Friday night games at Joel Knowles Field were the last time they had a chance to see Jimmy Newell play up close and personal.
Newell's coming up to the right. He's at the 50. He's at the 40. He makes a cut inside at the 30, down to about the 24-yard line.
And those who were there won't soon forget the excitement that Jimmy Newell brings to a game. He could pass.
To the right. Newell rolls out to his right. He looks for the pass to the flat to Seward.
He could run.
To Newell, he's got the ball. There goes Newell. He makes a cut inside. A nice play. 5. Touchdown, South Kitsap.
He could catch.
3-step drop. Fine throws a nice pass up.
And he could strike fear in the heart of any quarterback trying to throw into South Kitsap territory.
Drops back. He's got a man wide open down the middle of the field. Newell's down the defense, and it looks as if it's intercepted. And it is. It's a touchback. Interception by Jimmy Newell.
Probably the first thing that jumped out at you was his athleticism. When he was a sophomore, he was, real young and puppy dog-ish, running around, making plays whenever he got the chance. And then as he progressed through, that athleticism just continued to get better and better.
But his athleticism wasn't the only thing that made him a star at South Kitsap.
The work ethic was just tremendous, both in the off-season and during the season, where he kind of set the tone for 2 years for the kids on the team and for classes to come behind him.
Jimmy's talent and work ethic caught the eye of University of Washington scouts early, and by the time his senior year was starting at South, he'd accepted a full-ride scholarship to play Husky football. The transition into college ball wasn't easy, but with time, Jimmy not only has gained a reputation like the one he had at South, but has also gained the position of a starting safety.
You don't put in the amount of time and the amount of work that you need to succeed in this sport just to, just to be a backup or, just to be on the field. It's everybody's goal to start games and to be somebody that the team looks to and depends on. I've always had to work really hard to, improve my speed, improve my strength, and overall playing ability so that I could crack the starting lineup here.
Jimmy attributes a lot of his success from coming from a high school where football was taken so seriously. But success never comes without its price. In fact, some might say that Jimmy has had even more surgery than Michael Jackson.
Had a pin placed in my right wrist. I've dislocated these 2 fingers. I've had surgery on my left shoulder, followed the next season by surgery on my right shoulder. Had surgery on my thumb to replace a torn ligament, and I've torn a ligament in my knee, which was the last thing I did.
With all his injuries considered, Jimmy shies away from the idea of playing professional football. Although some might look at this as a missed opportunity, Jimmy can't help but feel lucky for the opportunity he has already had.
Growing up, it was always, you're unrealistic. I figured that I'd be playing 3 sports. By this time, I'd be in the NBA, the NFL, and playing Major League Baseball. So to even come close to succeeding in one of those goals is feels good.
With football and school, Jimmy's life can get pretty busy, but he makes time to help encourage the next generation to achieve their goals.
Jimmy comes back and at least one day comes to our football camp. And, whenever he gets an opportunity, he'll come in the weight room, whether it be over Christmas break or spring break, and they get to talk to him and ask him questions. And so they can definitely identify with him, and he does a good job of coming back and saying, hey, I was right here where you guys are, work hard, you never know what can happen. Well, I think he's just an example of work ethic and determination. Not everybody's going to be a college football player. So for him, it happened to be college athletics, but for other kids, he's an example of just your work ethic paying off.
So from walking the halls of South Kitsap to terrorizing the wide receivers of the Pac-10, Jimmy Newell has shown us that a little hope and a lot of hard work can go a long way.
Hey, Steven. How are you?
Jaded and spiteful. Are you gonna give me stuff too?
Well, you know, Christmas isn't the only time to give gifts. A lot of people even give gifts that don't even come in boxes.
Who? What gifts?
Well, like the gifts the kids in my story give. Check it out.
The winter holidays tend to be referred to as the season of giving, but some local elementary students have been doing their part for quite some time. Last year, Burley Glenwood Elementary School found a unique opportunity within one of their newest students. This student was 6-year-old Philip Sanchez, a kindergartner in Miss Lund's classroom and 2-year veteran in the fight against leukemia.
He's a really great student. He's very helpful. He always wants to help everybody else.
After learning about Sanchez from an outside acquaintance, Burley Glenwood counselor Annie Contos was determined to do her part.
It turned out Philip was in kindergarten and had missed a lot. Because after I learned that, then I started investigating.
That's how she learned of the Sparrows Club, a nonprofit organization to help kids just like Sanchez.
Businesses pledge money to help with this family, but the way the family actually has access to the money is because of kids doing service.
Students are encouraged to help out any way they can. Some have already begun doing yard work, babysitting, and running errands for neighbors. The students must be under 18 years of age, not receive gifts for their work, and make sure their service is benefiting someone outside their family in order to contribute to the Sparrows Club Fund. For many youngsters, the idea of helping others because you want to was still very new, but it was not long before the entire student body had caught on.
I think the gifts that our students are getting from this experience with Philip is just learning that giving service is rewarding to the person who gives the service.
The students' new interest in helping out around the community is reflected within their hours of hard work. In a school with 600 students, the Sparrows Club expected the school to bring in about 600 hours. But the steadfast students of Burley Glenwood have already surpassed an incredible 750 hours, giving the Sanchez family nearly $8,000 to cover added expenses. Because Sanchez missed so much school last year for treatment, he is now in his 2nd year of kindergarten with Mrs. Lund.
But he was really far behind where the rest of the class was, so everything we did, he was behind, and that was just a struggle for him, and it was just really frustrating, and you could see that. And now he knows what we're doing. He knows how to do the letters, and he gets so excited he'll run up and look at this.
But what does young Philip Sanchez think about being back in school? Well, we asked him that. His response? We get to do lots. And stuff. So there you have it. Who knew stuff could be so stimulating? If you would like to do your part, whether pledging service hours or financial aid, contact Burley Glenwood Elementary School at 360-443-3110.
Guys, I'm going to return your gifts. Is there something wrong with the stories?
No. I just realized that your guys' stories should be chosen by the merit they hold instead of by what you got me. So, my gift to you is all of your stories are going to make it into Wolf Tracks. Seriously, you guys, your stories are great. So, I had one more question. Do you have any idea what we should do for the hosting?